Had to make a second one. I don't have time to clip them together. So this one's going to be the VIX. VIX showing where the markets are going. Go back to full screen here on VIX. VIX is, remember, is the volatility index, and it's your fear and greed index. Now, what really concerned me on being the short of the stock market, I'm holding that TZA, is this gap. Boy, this is not good. Having a VIX gap is rare. If you look at this, it is, you have one right in there, but it is rare to have a VIX gap, okay? So what's concerning about that is they're going to want to fill it because contracts are very important. Yeesh. You know, you're talking about this is the basis that moves the markets, the fear and greed index. So this one, we have got to pay attention. I don't know how they're going to pull this one off, to be honest with you, because they got to bring the markets up to drop the VIX down again. And so I'm hoping that the drop is going to be where you can have, sometimes you can have some divergence where the VIX will be flatter coming down and the market's going with the VIX, okay? Because those are contracts on, I think they're the 30-day contracts, the VIX. But anyway, so this is concerning though. You got to see that gap is what I'm talking about right there. Man, you are kidding me. That makes me nervous because what that means is they're going to try to run the market up and bring that VIX, those VIX contracts down, and then the VIX volatility index, right? So this, and God, if you had a gap up here, you're finding the short side. So you got to be very careful. So what's probably going to happen? Well, I mean, they could run up here and then try a Santa Claus rally later in the last week in December and set it up to set it up to get it to come down there, some all over the place. So, I mean, they could run it up here a little bit and then just do a big surprise, some kind of weird, it's hard to get news rolling, great things during the holiday season, but they might do anything to drop that down to fill that gap and then maybe start to sell off again, right? But so that they're probably setting us up for the Santa Claus rally. That's probably why they're letting the markets fall and they're pushing it down right now. You see, it wasn't 2 weeks ago, all the news, that's why we don't ignore news, look at the charts. It was all about, boy, we recovered, inflation's good. They said, we're good to go. Boy, we're solid. And now all of a sudden all the negativity's coming right back out of the woods. I mean, seriously. You even had the Fed out there here and saying something today about how they were concerned that maybe they were wrong about inflation. See, they always just fly, it's such crap. It's unreal, right? And everything used to be the focus on oil. Oil prices have actually been dropping. Like I said, even natural gas, they've been dropping. And so it used to be every time the market's up because oil's down, the focus is oil, and then it's a war, and it's this other thing. They just change the topic, the theory. It's like they got you running all over the place, right? So my concern is this: be on the short side. They're going to try a short squeeze. The short squeeze, I don't know if you know what that means. We're going to watch out everybody that's trying to, go the opposite direction. They squeeze them out and cause them to have to buy the cover. Okay, so let's see how that plays out. But it's we got to really pay attention to that, right? Because I told you, no. So on the top side, looking at that, I was trying to look again here. We're at the top side. See, we had that M pattern, like I was telling you, which was a nightmare because you had an M pattern. And then it said, they didn't do a retest, which is rare. So, I mean, they did this kind of here. They should have done a little gauge back into it and then dropped it. They kind of just ran it sideways and then kind of pulled it down, which is unusual. But anything's going to go in this market. So the VIX, other than the pattern, there's really not much there, right? Other than that gap. I mean, that gap is bothersome. Look at that. That thing right in there. Look at this. So, and that's going to mean they're going to have to try to ramp it. They're going to have to ramp the market up to cause that because it was the opposite direction. And then once they fill that, boy, it could probably take off, right? So let's see how that plays out, okay? Now let's look at the Russell, IWM. I already did it's not going to give you much more information than we already did with the TZA because it's just the opposite times 3 and all that other stuff, right? But let's see, look at this, full screen. See if we can see something in there. I need to get those moving averages, and I keep saying that. We got to get those moving averages in there to give us more of a clear picture of what's going on. It's really important. Let's look at the volume here on the IWM. IWM is not the home index. So you got to be careful about using this as a volume indicator. You really want to actually use the true volume indication of the Russells, but I'm typing in. And by the way, that data is always scattery, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's usually always scattered all over the place. There you go. Now, here's the thing is, we still got that gap. Look at this. Right there in the Russell. And it's starting to It's not a good M pattern. It should have been more like this, or at least a little bit more. But we do have an M pattern forming that it looks like it's gonna come down, fill that gap, come down here, and it should have had more of a rounding. But it is an M pattern. Okay, it is an M pattern, so it means that the market probably. So if we, it's hard because I'm not trying to stretch it to make an M pattern, but it's definitely going to probably be an M pattern. So what that means is you're going to fill that gap, come down, test that line, and they might try to retrace and then drop it through that M pattern. And where's our bottom line? It doesn't even have those moving averages. Where's the next test line? Boy, it's going to be down there. There's a lot of accumulation. Oh boy, look at this on a horizontal. That line there is going to be a nightmare if they're going to test that line, because they got this right here. We got accumulation here, so that volume here. There's a ton of accumulation distribution. So that I'm gonna have to pull up hoping tomorrow I may have time to get a moving average to show you where would it actually be, because moving averages tell me how far the next target is going to be. Okay, and I can't tell the target. Let's see. I'm trying to bring it in to see if I can. As far as I can squish it. The next target, if it does break that M pattern, I'm trying to. Boy, we sure have. Oh my goodness, is that a bigger head and shoulder? The head and shoulder within one? I don't know. It's because you can stretch this stuff out too much. It looks really bad. I'm saying bad for the long side. Let's see. There's one that was interesting. Look at this. There's an M pattern that hit. I told you it came down, tested that line, hit it 3 times. Boy, they luckily covered that one, because see that M right here went like this, and it hit the right and left of the leg. And then I told you to retrace, and they came down, hit again, and luckily it covered it and held it up. You kidding me? And boy, they have really lucky, and that's probably why you say this later. Boy, that is amazing. I never saw that earlier. So anyway, it looks. I'm trying to see if we got a. Nah, it's too far out. Yeah, it's too far down the timeline. I was trying to see if there's any other head and shoulder patterns or anything like that. Even like a rising wedge. We don't really have a clean one. A rising wedge is like this, but usually it'll become tighter and tighter. So it's not even a rising wedge. The reason why you want to look at a rising wedge is because once it breaks, it just really collapses on you. But it's not a rising wedge because it's more of a wide channel. See that wide channel? But see how I did that line there? So if it breaks that line, the bottom line, sorry, probably what I'm talking about. Oh, let's see. Here's that line right there. That's what I'm saying. We go here. So see how I get that line that was that gap fill? With that line break, it's going to come down and hit that sucker. And I tell you what, they better recover it there, because if they don't, you're going all the way down here. Yeah, you're going all the way down there. I can do that without the moving averages. You're going to come all the way down here where all this accumulation was, that line right in here. See, I keep drawing that. So right when that thing breaks, it's going to be very fast going down, because they're breaking that channel. Okay. All right. That's all I got. God bless. Love you all.